So, you've probably heard this term design thinking getting tossed around, right? In meetings, on job posts, it's everywhere. It definitely sounds important, but what is it really? Well, that's exactly what we're going to unpack right now. Let's get into it.
I want you to picture something. You're in a meeting. You know the one. The coffee's gone a bit cold, and there's one person at the front of the room just kind of talking at everybody.
Yeah, that's the classic business as usual setup. Information just flows in one direction, and ideas, if they even pop up, they often get lost in the shuffle. It's passive, it's predictable, and let's be honest, it's not always the best way to get things done.
But here's the thing. What if we could just flip that whole dynamic on its head? What if instead of just sitting there and listening, we could actually build a process for real creative problem solving?
And this is where you can really see the difference. On the left, you've got that familiar passive meeting. But look at the right. That's the alternative. People are up, they're engaged, they're collaborating. That is the heart of design thinking. It's this huge shift from just listening to actively creating together.
So what's the official definition? Well, Stanford keeps it pretty simple. They say design thinking is a methodology for creative problem solving. Now that word, methodology, that's super important. It tells you this isn't just about throwing ideas at a wall and seeing what sticks. No, there's a real structured process to it.
Tim Brown, who's the CEO of IDEO and a huge name in this space, gives us a bit more to chew on. He calls it a human-centered approach to innovation. And he says it brings together three key things: what people need, what technology can do, and what a business needs to succeed. So you can see right away, it's not just about being creative for creativity's sake. It has to work in the real world.
Okay, so that big quote just gave us the three key ingredients, right? The three core pillars of innovation. Let's dig into each one of them and see how they fit together.
It all starts here. First and foremost, design thinking is human-centered. What does that mean? It means everything begins with empathy. Before we even dream up a solution, we have to really deeply understand the people we're trying to help. What do they want? What drives them crazy? What do they truly need?
Okay, next up, technology. You can think of this as the feasibility piece of the puzzle. So once you know what people need, you got to ask, what can we actually build? This is where we look at what's possible, what tools are out there, and what tech we can use to meet those human needs we just figured out.
And finally, our third pillar, making it a successful business. Because look, an idea can be something people want, and it might be possible to build. But if it's not financially viable, if it can't sustain itself as a business, it's just not going to last. This pillar makes sure our solution can actually survive and thrive.
So there we have them, the three pillars: desirability for what people want, feasibility for what technology can do, and viability for what makes business sense. Now, the real magic here isn't in any one of these circles alone. The real magic, the true innovation, happens right in the middle, in that sweet spot where all three overlap.
And that intersection, that gives us this incredibly powerful way to define innovation. It's not some random lightning bolt of an idea. No. Innovation, through the lens of design thinking, is what you get when you perfectly balance what people desire, what technology can deliver, and what the business can support.
So when you boil it all down, what's the big takeaway? Design thinking is the framework that helps us transform that boring, one-way meeting into an active, buzzing, collaborative workshop. And it's one that puts actual human beings right at the very center of everything we do. So I'll leave you with this question. Think about the problems and challenges you're facing right now in your own work. How might your solutions change if you started with these three pillars: what's desirable, what's feasible, and what's viable? How could this change the way you solve problems? Maybe even starting tomorrow.